This video is brought to you in part by TruTech Tools, quality tools, essential support. Alright guys, so now we're on to something a little bit bigger than that residential unit I was just on. So this air handler here is not warm. Neither one of them are. However, when we come over to this other unit over there, it's actually warm. But if you look at this valve here on top, it's pneumatic, and it has a plunger there that would let the water go through. I don't do a lot of pneumatic stuff, but if you look here, you have no pressure on that at all. So that little control there most likely energizes a solenoid that lets the air go through to that valve there and lets it bypass or go through the coil. So we need to find the air compressor and see if there's a problem with the air compressor. It's just kind of interesting that, you know, this one over here actually is warm. So you've got chiller coils on the other one, and this is the heat boiler coil, and that's actually hot. So let's go over here. They got the chillers. So here is the chillers. Yeah, this is probably over here. It looks like we have pressure on the tank. She's been warm, so she's been running. Comes out of there, out of this tank. It's all hodgepodgey looking. Comes up to this little dryer here. This is a cooler. It's going to try to get the moisture out of it. You got a blow down valve down here on bottom. That's an electronic timer on it. That's going to into the drain every so often to get the water out of the tank. And this is a dryer. And then this little thing here, it looks like it's been leaking like crazy, is a little refrigerator that basically pulls the moisture out of it. So that's going to come out of that, and then it's going to feed those lines. But you come over to here, that comes up to there and goes across, goes up to there, and the other line goes down stairs somewhere. This should have pressure on it. So where do we got an issue at? That's what I'm wanting to know. Unless that gauge don't work where I was at. We're on the other side of the wall here. You can see you got black line going there, over, around, down here, over to there. The other one is going across that pipe, and that appears that it comes across there, over to there. I don't know what would cause that, but I guess one of the easy ways is to basically unhook the line and see if we can get some air blowing out. Could just be a crappy valve thing here. That valve could be junk, who knows. But don't explain why this don't have what appears to be pressure on it. I think we're gonna break one of these compression fittings, because I don't know if it's a good idea to pull that off. You probably have to heat those up. I loosened this up with a wrench. It's definitely leaking air out. But so we got air over here. The question is then, why is that not moving? Is that not receiving a signal? Who knows? Could be an issue with that. Could be this other cord, which I think is, you know, I love it when they always leave their leftover wires there and don't do nothing with them. Now the first thing I was thinking, okay, is it air? Because I thought one of these should be hot. I figured it would be looping it back, and it don't appear to be. Yeah, it's probably asbestos under there. It's really great. Because this one here, when you look at it, you can see that it's a little further up. See how this part right there is further up? You can see how it's kind of like right there at the bottom, right there was down further, so that would be opening the valve to let it go through instead of letting it come up the other way. Well, see the arrow right there, it says open, up. That one's not, so that's why I figured it was probably more of that than it was anything else. However, we're not bypassing anything, so you would figure that water would be coming down, coming into the bottom of it, and then back out. So we might have air in it. I mean, it's possible. That's why I didn't jump to that conclusion at first. So I'm gonna try to figure out if there's a way I can bleed this thing. I mean, you got a blow down tube here, but I hate trying to push air out through the bottom. It never does seem to work real well, but might be what we need to do here. I might have to valve off one of these if we can get it to turn and try to bleed it out through there. I just fixed some entry heaters to this place, so let's go see what the water pressure, see if they fixed that. They had a leak on this tank here originally, and looks like they may have gotten it running. Yeah, it's hot. Originally it was leaking up there, which was kind of bothersome. Hopefully they aren't just draining it down a drain, letting it run and run and run, because the water fill was acting up. But you never know who, they've got different people. Yeah, nothing's going down the drain. I guess that's a good thing. So we are not filling. See a valve's off there and there. This old boiler here doesn't get used anymore. Let's see what our water pressure is on this bird. Oh, 0. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, good figure. So I bet you when I turn it on, it's gonna start leaking again. They never fixed it. I told them it was needing fixed, and yeah, why would you want to do that? So, see if we can feel it coming through. Actually, which one goes to which? Yeah, that one comes up and over to that boiler. So it's the top one. You don't want to do the bottom one. The bottom one, they should just completely undo it, because this old beast here, yeah, it shouldn't even be getting water ever. Should just take that fill valve completely off. Maybe we should actually do that. And then this was leaking, if I remember right. Yeah. Yeah, backflow preventer here was leaking. They've got issues. That's what sucks. These old buildings are garbage, and they don't want to put no money into anything. All right, our pressure now is up to 12, 15 area. Nothing's leaking, so hopefully somebody fixed it. I was gonna fix it last time, but there's no good way to reach that without a monstrous tall ladder. I looked through the paperwork and didn't see anybody had done anything with it. Went ahead, took this off, marked that, keep it off, old boiler. Got this on, autofill. I mean, you shouldn't have to keep the autofill on. A lot of times we don't recommend it. However, with this place, with the condition of the equipment, I don't know if it really matters. There's so many issues here. Everything's so old. They finally just got these replaced this year, I think. This is a big department store. So now that we have some pressure on the boiler, that might help push the water a little further out. Because like I said, the other air handlers are actually warm. Might be starting to feel something. Definitely is warmer here, not very warm, but it's a slow process. I don't recommend getting stupid with this, but I was able to break it loose and get it to turn a little easier with the pliers. There we go. Let's see if we can get this hand valve here down, loosened up. See if we can get some drainage out. As long as the pressure's higher than what's out here, it should push water out. Feeling some warmth. Shouldn't take a bunch. Okay, we're just gonna stop that and see. Theoretically, it should be able to bypass through there, up. You would figure it would have went right on out, but let's go ahead and open this back up. All right, this piece of crap's leaking, which is lovely. One more extra thing to deal with. What we're doing is we're closing off one of the air handlers, trying to force that air through if there is air. If that ain't it, then we'll, just kind of eliminating things here. Because like I said, this line's come across. Quite the vendetta here. So we've valved off both of these here. That's gonna make the water go through over to this air handler here and hopefully start to leak back. Okay, we got these back here too, which I've got this one shut down. Actually, this one's got a bad motor. They ain't wanted to fix it yet. This one here, I should shut that one down. And this one here, we gotta shut down. I gotta kill the circulator pumps too, because I don't wanna burn those up if I'm stopping water flow, which all these I think have been warm. Yeah, it's warm. So, motor, pump power. There you go, and let's close these two off and see if we can get those circulators to, worst case scenario, we're gonna get that water through there for sure. Okay, we're gonna kill the air here going to it. Looks like it got it about 25. Pop off here. There we go. They should fail open. There, we've taken it off. The air compressor has no clue. As far as it knows, the pressure's still up. There, that valve should, worst case scenario, if it was powered open, but I think it's powered closed. So let's go and see. I mean, it's not like pneumatics were even a thing when I was starting 30 years ago. Actually, looks like it's gone up. And more water's coming through. So we've got a failure with the controller going to it. So that controller, go figure, good old controls, that must control it, and that's why I'm not getting my hot water through the coil. So that there, as you can see, is up. You know, sometimes you just gotta do trial and error and start playing until you can get it, and that's what we did. Like I said, haven't done much of these. Water's coming through nice and hot. Don't want to hold my hand there. Okay, this area is probably starting to get warmer. Yep, feeling good, feeling good. Okay, so you would thought that it must be because it fails open, the pressure pushes it down. I would assume somehow there must be a valving in there that makes it go down and pushes down. I don't know. It just, you would think that you push from the bottom, it'd go up, but it must do some channeling in there. It does it differently than that. And what's funny is it's in parallel with the cooling one here, which it went up too, which means it would have let things circulate through, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know, it's kind of odd. You'd think you'd want one closed, the other one open, but probably need to run them both at the same time if you want to do dehumidification of some sort. So now that it's coming back hot, we can go ahead and turn the other units back on. Let's go get these valves back open. All right, so I went and got my ladder there. That's what I used the last time, my personal ladder, to get into this building, because there's places where you got to get up high in the ceiling, and that I hope will come close to reaching that. It's not going to be the safest thing in the world, but otherwise dragging an 18-foot or whatever 12-foot ladder in here has been a problem. I went ahead and grabbed my meter and checked milliamps. That's what this system is. I checked with our control guy. He said, put her in series with it, see what you got. I don't have anything. It's basically dead. You're supposed to be anywhere from 10 to 20 milliamp on average. It's nothing. So we got an issue there. I haven't checked the other ones, but they seem to be working at least. This one doesn't. So probably gonna need to get a hold of whoever controls their building here. You know, usually on ours, we can find the main panel and usually cycle power, and it will work after that. But I'm gonna have to get a hold of somebody on that. For right now, what I'm gonna do is see if I can get to that pressure tank up in the ceiling. All right, luckily the ladder was able to go right up there to that pipe and hold me against that, which that was pretty strong. I was able to get that glass out of there, and the glass is messed up. It's got rotted rubbers in there, so we're gonna replace these rubbers out of there, and then that'll stop. I tightened it up and it quit, but man, they're so brittle. There's no softness to this rubber at all, pliable, whatever you want to call it. It's just plain garbage. So all that does, that tightens up, squeezes the rubber squeezes the glass. That's waterlogged too, because it was leaking at the top, so the air was letting it water come up to the top, and you got to be sealed to be able that to work. So we got some new O-rings here. They're made specifically for this. So the the nut goes on, and then this goes behind it. We're gonna clean this crap up off of this there, because that's gonna cause it to leak. So we'll clean that up with something, scouring pad or something. Then this goes behind it, and then when that squeezes on it, it will tighten up and it'll keep it from leaking. So as you get it clean, it goes like that right there, and right there. This comes up behind it, tighten up, squish, squish. Stainless steel brush, and the knife worked really good. I gave them a call. They're gonna hopefully give it a call to do its thing. So we'll go ahead and put this back on. We need to go DC, so we tell it DC. It's 0.8 still. Turn the light back off so it don't go dead. So we just put that in series with it. What I did is I took that old piece that was up there top, chopped out that wire, and that way I didn't shorten this one up at all. And then just put it in series to it. Good old Fluke 87.5, great bench test meter. It can do pretty much anything and everything under the sun, freak drives, you name it. Really, it's pretty much like the Simpson and triplet of the meter world. I've seen some major indestructibility tests on it. It's been pretty impressive. I always wanted it. It's a big meter, but there's nothing wrong with it. It works really good. I like it. Some people like, I think, the 187 or 189, something like that. That's the controls guy sold me that one used, which was like practically brand new. I put a new case on it to make it pretty, because I'm weird like that. So yeah. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna valve this off. I'm gonna open up that valve. It'll pull air out of the top there. Otherwise, it's gonna blast water up through there to me and drench me. The fill valve is stopped because it comes across and comes into there. This thing will just kill it. So we'll shut that down there. That way it doesn't try to run, heating the water anymore, building more pressure. Yeah, we're about ready to blow pressure right now. That's not good. We ain't gonna get much time to do that. That really went up quick. Sometimes they don't reset. That's why I really don't want it tripping. But that's why we're not adding any extra heat. It's not building up pressure now. So let's get up here and get this thing done. I'm not gonna be able to record while I'm up there, but we're just gonna basically drain it out of there, and we're gonna open up those, and I'll let air and water come down. It'll drain out halfway fast, not real super fast. And you can see right there, the hose is actually draining out the water fairly quick. I mean, that's 3/4 inch hose. It's getting her done. We wanna drain it down about at least halfway area, and we'll be all right after that. Usually some of them have a hole in the middle that'll allow you to drain down so far, but yeah, it's not happening today. At least that backflow is not acting up anymore, so we're good on that. But yeah, I'm happy that's actually coming out that fast, which is great. But it helps when it's like, 15 foot up in the air. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this back on so that everything's locked back down. Slowly open her up and get that spit out water. There we go. That'll build up pressure. That's open. That's open. Turn this on. There we go. Okay, this valve looks like it's still possibly open. This one here had shut the circulator down, so I think they controlled it by the circulator. And we are still not receiving any real signal at all. Unless somebody freaking wired the wrong wire up to it, which God only knows if that's the case. You gotta love it. And then, like I said, that circulator pump's not even calling. So this stupid thing's not even calling now. It was running the circulator earlier. All right, by tightening that bottom nut and leaving the top one open, we're still letting air out, but you can see we're right in about the halfway mark, a little bit under halfway mark. So it just hand tightened and it already sealed up. So you tuck it into the top, you tuck a little in the bottom, and you split the difference between them, and you're good to go. I think I'm gonna stop right there so I can get this back online. I mean, half tank usually is plenty. You can see how old this expansion tank here is. 1965. Still working. Crazy. Yeah, there's no bladder in that, it's just pure metal. That's it. Like I said, there used to be a drain in the bottom of those tubes there sometimes that you could just automatically drop it down to where it needs to be at, and then you'd be good to go. So yeah, when we fill this up, obviously air will pocket to the top and it'll just hold there. But she's going down fairly decent. Okay, let's go ahead and see what happens when we open this. I marked it on the sight glass right there. I'll close the valve underneath of it. So let's go ahead and turn this back on. We've dropped a little bit in temp. Not too bad. About 130 area. Pressure's jack squat, so there, see this burners just came on, and this here should be filling back up pretty quick. They don't have a fast fill on this, do they? Nope. No bypass. Nope, no bypass at all. Usually you'll have a bypass around this to speed it up if you want to fill it quickly, if this thing was completely empty. If you want to see how fast this goes up when I close this valve, watch this. This is what happens when your expansion tank don't work. So it does, immediately starts to go up, and eventually would trip the pop off. So yeah, can't do that. But that's what happens when you heat water. Obviously it expands, and that's what the expansion tank is for. give it a place to expand. Looks like it went up about an inch or so. I think we're good. Thought about spraying it with some soap, just make sure it's not leaking around it, because obviously you wouldn't know it. It's leaking until you start getting water up higher. All right, guys, you won't believe this, but that extra wire they had in there, I got tired of dealing with it. I chopped their dang wire ties off, started feeding it up here, and found this box. Got looking at this, I'm like, look at that, hot water valve, cold water valve, air handler 5, cold water, hot water. Guess what? You, for some reason, have to freaking switch this piece of junk so it'll work. As soon as I did, look at my gauge. Up came my pressure, up came my milliamps. I'm at 17, so she's driving wide open. Look at her here. She hasn't moved though, unfortunately. Well, we're halfway there. We're getting there. It's not warm yet, but yeah, that valve's got to open. I don't know why it's not. I don't know, maybe you have to switch something on this stupid thing too. I don't know. They must have like had cut corners and couldn't afford it or something. I don't know what they're doing, but at least that's working. But yeah, I don't know. This is some ragtag crap. All right, our heats came up. Our pressure's a little up there. Our water line has gone up. You can see right there at the top, there's one. And then right below it's where the middle was at. It's about probably 75%, 80%, somewhere in that ballpark. So may have to drain it a little bit more once this shuts down a little bit, but we're getting there. All right, so we finally got a hold of the controls guys, and we got it switching back and forth. We found out the wire, like I said, down there, you gotta switch it there. Then we had to switch the pneumatic lines down there. And then you got to come back over here, and we found out we have to switch some of this crap around. I got the controls guy here helping me with it a little bit, and even he's had to contact our oldest control guy that may have actually worked with some pneumatics. And it's just, what in the world? Why would you have ever... Even the guy from the train told me, he's like, I don't like the way they did it. 20 milliamp is wide open. 4 mil or 3 mil is closed. Cooling, we swap it. But you didn't say nothing, but nobody left a note, nothing. I mean, man, oh man. And then this feedback circuitry here, neither one of us 100% understand that, because that valve over there from the control system actually modulates open and close based off the milliamp signal it's getting. So it's like, why do you need this? Because really your bellows up here on top seems to be doing all the work. And so when it receives pressure here, it pushes down, it loses pressure, it comes back up. Just crazy. And then it's not bypassing like it should either, but you know, that's another story. I mean, this whole place is, you know, just keep it running. It doesn't have to be perfect type thing. All right, you can see there's my mark. There's the water line right there. Obviously it's not leaking because I don't have any water leaking down the side of this. So I shut the boiler off. We're gonna drain this down some more. I'd love to keep it halfway, but that might be too optimistic. All right, so we got it all the way down to there, so that should be good enough now. Wherever it lands is where it lands. We just turned this back on, got that valve open. We did some rigmarole back over there on the other matrix, the air pipes, and it's working, modulating. All right, so we labeled those there. That'll make it a little easier to try to figure out, if you can figure it out. And as good as you're gonna get it. So we got her together, it's running, gonna let them know, we're out of here. All right, as you guys can see, it's a little dark. So that valve at the top of it, that actual very top of that mushroom head there, that gets pressure on it, and that causes it to push down to close it. The way they wired it was 20 milliamps, made it go full pressure to close the valve, and then basically nothing, or 3 or 4 milliamps, relieved the valve inside that little control that was on the wall. That let the pressure drop, and then it would actually open back up. And then when they did cooling, they literally swapped that around with the different wires that were on the wall. That, remember we said, well, what's that one there hanging for? Not labeled or nothing, which is typical baloney. And then basically we had to change it up there at the heads. Originally I changed it down at the controller on the wall, and that wasn't it. So we put that back the way it was. And so yeah, then now it does opposite. Cooling now will be full heat, full valve open on cooling with a 20 milliamp and will be closed with none. So just basically opposite heat versus cooling. The guy on the phone said he didn't like pneumatic stuff, and that was something that they used to do that made it a little trick they used that worked. But unless somebody knows to switch it, what good is that? So we labeled all the hoses where they go for summer versus winter, and the wires at the controller on the wall, winter versus summer. And then you just got to swap them and put a butt connector in there on that wire, cut and stripped, and that's good to go there. So that's what we got, guys. That's one of them days where you just kind of spent, 5 hours, 6 hours trudging through crap because you didn't know how they wired it, and spent a lot of time there. Had to come get a ladder to get up to that tank. Wasn't the most pleasant thing to do, but got it done. Luckily I had that on the truck. Replaced the rubber washers, drained that tank all the way down, got it now it should stay at least half or somewhere in that ballpark. Sometimes they go further. It's just one of them things. That's it. Just working. It's weekend, it's Friday. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Until next time, catch you on the next one. Later.